I'm back live to bring to you the Phoenix Cardinals. And this is a storied franchise. But in this game, the Phoenix Cardinals are the Phoenix Cardinals and not the Arizona Cardinals. They once played in Chicago. If we still had two options of football teams, I would go with the Cardinals at this point because the Bears don't know what they're doing. But they started in Chicago, moved to St. Louis, and then ended up in Phoenix. And in 1994, they changed their team name to the Arizona Cardinals, which they are today. So let's take a look at the team. The Phoenix Cardinals. Let's start with the quarterback, Tim Rosenbach. Tim Rosenbach has a maximum speed of 19. So he has some mobility as a quarterback. Not quite a scrambler, but he has a little bit of mobility. Pass control 44. That's a little bit below average. What's up? Chat box is open. I will answer and respond to most of it after I get through the team and the matchups for the team. Pass control's at a 44. Avoid pass block is a low 31. Rosenbach Chevrolet. Tom Tupa's the backup. Tom Tupa is better known in the NFL for being a punter, but he had some quarterback roots. And there's not too much reason for you to bring in Tom Tupa. He's got a maximum speed of 13. He's slower. His pass control's not as good. Accuracy of passing, 31, but don't pay attention to that stat. It does nothing. Avoid pass block is a 38. You do want to keep your eye on Tom Tupa throughout the course of the game. See if his condition goes in excellent, because he can achieve better ratings than Tim Rosenbach. So keep your eye on him and check his conditions throughout the game. I believe there is a rule in Tecmo Madison where you can only check or go into your offensive starters to check conditions once a quarter. So, you should take advantage of that for sure. Yeah, Tom Tupa was a great punter. All right, so the Cardinals are about the running back on offense, and it's Johnny Johnson. The pictures you see on the left, Johnny Johnson is actually not white. But if you have read a recent article by Lou Ragus, if that's how you pronounce it, he goes into, how the developers made the game. And I think they were just taking these photos and stuff from magazines. So there were a few cards and things where I could see where you think Johnny Johnson looks white, but no, he is a black guy, even though his picture's white. So he's got a maximum speed of 50, which is pretty good. He's going to be your best player on offense. If you have the Cardinals, this is the guy you're going to take advantage of. So they have this 3-wide receiver offense. So Roy Green is in this spot right here. He's not necessarily a burner, but he's the fastest receiver you have. 44 maximum speed, 56 receptions, pretty solid. So he's going to be your speed guy, even though he's not too fast. Ron Wolfley, he's only a 38 maximum speed, 25 receptions. You might use him as your second running back, depending on what playbook you choose. But otherwise, you're not going to use him for much. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, but he's a 38 maximum speed, so he could be of value to you as well as that second running back. His hitting power is 25. His receptions are 31. So, he has better receptions than Wolfley. So just keep your eye on those guys. See if they go in better condition throughout the course of the game. Ricky Proehl. So Ricky Proehl has a really high reception rating at 69. The problem with Ricky Proehl, he's only on 19 maximum speed, so he's more of a possession receiver. If you're ever throwing a bomb, like at the end of a half or end of the game, you're not going to have enough time to throw to Ricky Proehl. So, you might throw to him if you're going to get a lucky covered catch. But he's a slow receiver, but he has good hands. Ernie Jones, 56 receptions, not too bad. 38 maximum speed, not too good there. But he's going to be about your third best receiver. Anthony Thompson, this running back, he's another 38 hitting power, 25 receptions. So you have 3 running backs with 38 maximum speed. One of these guys might go into better condition throughout the game. You could use him as your second running back. J.T. Smith, wide receiver. The stats aren't too good. 50 receptions is okay. That's pretty average. And then 25 maximum speed isn't good. But what you might do with J.T. Smith is put him in at tight end, because even though his hitting power is low and he's not going to be good for running plays, Walter Reeves is only a 44 hitting power, and his 38 receptions isn't doing much for you on offense. Phoenix sucks. Well, we'll get to what I think about them as a whole. And then Tim Jordan, also, he's not doing too much. His hitting power is even lower. Maximum speed 19, 25 receptions. So you might want to make a sub at tight end and put in J.T. Smith. So their offensive line has a couple weak points. So I would say when you have 2 weak offensive linemen like the Phoenix Cardinals, this is one of them. Bill Lewis, 38 hitting power, not good. You're going to be susceptible for D linemen and linebackers breaking in easily. So I would say they have a below average line, even though they have other guys who could hold their own. 56 hitting power here on the line. Lance Smith, another weak right guard here, 38 hitting power. Lewis Sharp is really good on the line. He's your best lineman. Left tackle, 63 hitting power, 50 maximum speed. Too bad he wasn't the right tackle, because that would make him, make the Cardinals have the best kick returner in the game, because they would take that 50 maximum speed. Al Del Greco was a legend. And then Tootsie Robbins, 56 hitting power, 25 maximum speed, so your kick returner will have that 25 maximum speed, and that's not too great. So, as far as their kicking game, 19 kick ability is poor. You're not going to have too much range. He has, if my calculations are correct, that's about a 63-yard field goal you could kick. It sounds impressive in real life, but in Tecmo, 63-yard field goal range is not that good. And then avoid kick block, 56. The punter, he's got a boot, so don't get that power meter too far up if you're trying to keep the punt within the 10, 5-yard line, because the punter has a boot on him. Rich Camarillo. Now let's look at the Cardinals defense. This is where I kind of like the Cardinals, to be 100% honest with you. They have one player on the 3-man D-line that can do some damage. Rod Sadler, he's about average, 38 maximum speed, 50 hitting power. Jim Waller, 38 maximum speed, 44 hitting power. And then Freddie Joe Nunn, that's the guy on the line. He might be able to get you some sacks on some weaker offensive linemen, but he's got a 50 maximum speed, 56 hitting power, 19 interceptions, so he's not too good to bring off the line in coverage. And 56 quickness, that's pretty, or the quickness rating means nothing, so don't pay attention to it. All right, Ken Harvey, this is your stud linebacker. He's got a 56 maximum speed, which is very good. 63 hitting power, I like that as well. Not a good coverage linebacker with only 19 interceptions. But he's a good option on the opposite side of the defense to Tim Mcdonald. So I like him, the strength at linebacker there. So 38 maximum speed for Garth Jacks. Eric Hill, 31 maximum speed, 38 hitting power, below average linebacker. And another below average linebacker, Anthony Bell, 31 maximum speed, 38 hitting power. So the corners, nothing too good. We got a 38 maximum speed, 19 hitting power, 50 interceptions, so that's good at least. And then their other corner with only a 44 interception, 31 maximum speed, 38 hitting power. So why do I like the Cardinals defense? The reason I like the Cardinals defense is because of their safeties. Lonnie Young, if you look at Lonnie Young, he has that meter on top, that running speed at 69. That actually means a lot on defense. Because at the snap of the ball, he's already moving quickly to that 44 maximum speed. 44 maximum speed is just about average for a defender. But when you could accelerate or start at a speed that gets you there right away, he's a really strong defender. He's very good for running plays because he gets right on top of the line. So Lonnie Young, and then he has a 56 interception, so he's actually a good coverage safety as well. So running speed at 69, that shouldn't be. Other players, most of the other defenders, I don't know if there's actually another one that has that. I have to take a look. But that running speed is 69. You can really use to your advantage with Lonnie Young. So, and then your other linebacker is your best defender on the team with a 56 maximum speed, 56 hitting power. His running speed's also pretty good at 38, and then 56 interceptions. So you could switch on user defenders between the two safeties, Tim Mcdonald and Lonnie Young, and then you got Ken Harvey as your option as a linebacker. And then if you have a few plays where you like to use a guy on the line, you got Freddie Joe Nunn. So you got options as user-controlled defenders on the Cardinals, and that's why I do like their defense. So for offensive starters, I believe I said put in Smith. They really don't have anyone with strong hitting power, unfortunately. You're going to put in Reeves. So there you go. All right, so let's take a look at the matchups. So I would say a lot of people that play at the Tecmo Madison tournament, they're not huge fans of the Cardinals. I don't see the Cardinals called, or I haven't seen the Cardinals called too much in matchups at tournaments. Played at 3 Tecmo Madison tournaments before. I can't say that I've ever had the Cardinals called against me. So the Cardinals, who would I match them up against? No one in their division. The NFC East was beastin' back in the day. 1990 to 93, they won the Super Bowl every year. You got Giants, Redskins, and then I think the Cowboys twice, and then the Eagles were a good team with Randall the whole time. So you don't match them up with anyone in that division. I would match them up against the Jets. Personally, I would take the Jets in that matchup, but you do have better speed at running back. I'd say their defenses are pretty equivalent, but the Jets' passing game is better. So the Jets are a matchup you could take. It just depends. Really, with the Cardinals, you want to use them in a matchup where you feel like your strength is a running game, and you could give your opponent a weaker running game on offense as well. The Jets aren't much weaker. They got a few backs at 44 maximum speed, but you could match them up against the Jets. Who else would I match them up against? The Green Bay Packers. Now the Packers, their passing game's a little stronger. They're also with a running back, Woodside, 44. Do you think I got what it takes to win the Tecmo tournament? We're going to see. I just registered for the Tundra Bowl 4 in Green Bay, and I'm actually talking about the Packers right now, so that's going to gauge for me where I'm at heading into Tecmo Madison in April. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to talk about that tournament in a second. But the Packers, they have a strong receiver as with Sterling Sharp, so that they have a stronger passing game than the Cardinals. But defensively, it's really, like I said, it's the Tim Harris show on defense. This is really their only defender that's worth the user control on the Packers. So, Cardinals, Packers, I would probably choose the Cardinals in that matchup. But you could match those two teams. I wouldn't match them up with any team in this division. And then NFC West, you can match them up against two teams. The Saints, you're going to have that equivalency maximum speed at running back. The Saints defense doesn't have someone who's, star defenders like the Cardinals, but they have good team defense overall. They got a lot of guys at 50 maximum speed. So, but you're giving them a strong special teams game with that kick return if you play them against the Saints. But you could match them up. And then you could also match up the Cardinals and Atlanta. With Atlanta, go Cards Pack. All right, I'll go Cards Pack. Versus Atlanta, Atlanta has one really strong defender, and that's Deion Sanders. So you can attack Deion Sanders. If you do that, there's not much help there for him on Atlanta's defense. And then, receiver-wise, Andre Rison's a star. He's a Pro Bowler. So you got to deal with him. But other than their few star players, they're pretty good matchup for the Cardinals. So I would have I like the Falcons just due to nostalgia purposes, but I would probably take the Cardinals in that matchup. And then the last team, and I always throw this team in there as a matchup, is the Browns. You might bait someone into the Browns if you go Browns-Cardinals because, like I said, if there's players who like passing game as their strength in the tournament, they're going to know that QB Browns' Bernie Kosar has that huge advantage against the Cardinals quarterback. The only thing with the Browns is they're slow the running backs are slow, and they don't have much going on defense, so that's a matchup you can choose as well. I wouldn't match them up against any other team per se if I called the matchup in the tournament. Andre Rison, Neon Deion did change the game. All right, so we're gonna go. The chat requested the Phoenix Cardinals versus the Green Bay Packers, so that's what we'll go with today. So I registered for the Tecmo Tundra Bowl. It's January 28th at the Watering Hole. Going with my cousin Sean. My brother's going to accompany us, but he's not going to play. What we plan on doing is streaming a few games if the cell phone data coverage is good enough. So if you watched on my channel the Christmas Eve Tecmo Super Bowl tournament that my family has, that's the format you're looking at for those videos. But they just sent out an email today, and it looks like they have some number one seeds chosen so far. I didn't see my name on there. Wasn't expecting it. But so now I know who I'm looking at. The Tundra Bowl I had on my radar since last year was supposed to be Tecmo Madison's last tournament, but turns out it isn't. But the Tundra Bowl claims to be the second largest Tecmo Super Bowl tournament in the country, so we'll see if it turns out to be that. They're expecting 70 to 80 players. The Watering Hole is a great bar, great burgers. We'll find out. We'll find out what kind of beers they have. I hope they have a couple crafties for me. So I'm going to use that tournament to gauge where I'm at going in Tecmo Madison tournament. I think the Tundra Bowl, they were setting up their website, media coverage to probably take the throne of the Tecmo Madison tournament because it's also in Wisconsin, but turns out it's not going to happen that way. It's a qualifier for the Tecmo Madison tournament, but I'm looking forward to it anyways. It looks like they set up their website to include the statistics that Tecmo Madison was so great at. And that's what I really like about the Tecmo Super Bowl community, is that they really have extensive statistics. Is Daryl any good at Tecmo? I don't think so. And that's one question I have for the Tecmo Madison organizer Dave Murray, is actually where are those stats on the Tecmo Madison website currently? Because what Tecmo community does so well, the TPC stats were always so extensive, and I thought that was awesome. And then the Tecmo Madison tournament carried those same matchups over, and they had win-loss records for everyone. You know, even other tournaments, a stat database, and then like a lot of times it knew which team you used and who you played against in certain tournaments. So I'm just wondering, is the Tecmo Madison tournament too legit to quit? I would say so. It definitely is. So I'm just wondering where those stats are and if they're coming back. It looks like the Thunder Bowl is setting themselves up to have those kind of stats, even though currently it looks like they just have them on spreadsheets. So I'm looking to see what goes on from here. So let's start talking about the game a little bit. I don't know what his stream winning percentage is. So if you notice the play I'm picking right now, this run play, the path or run 2, since Johnny Johnson's actually white on this game, if I use the run 2 that's up the middle, it's a giveaway because he doesn't match up in the backfield with pass 3. So, you know, I decided to pick that play instead. A lot of players know which linebackers to use to break up that run 2, so that's just something you have to expect. But if you catch them coming in and you're going with a pass play, you might be able to get an advantage on them. Johnny Johnson finds the end zone. Johnny Johnson, he had a good rookie season in 1990. That's why he got that 50 maximum speed. He rushed for over 900 yards. And he's looking like a pretty good running back. And that's who you're going to utilize with this team, to be honest. You're going to use that running game. The passing game, it's going to be dink and dunk down the field with short passes. But hopefully, you know, Johnny Johnson's condition goes up and you can break some big runs. So look, Lonnie Young, he's moving quick right at the snap of the ball. That's what I love about him, because he's got that 69 running speed. So if I go to Tim McDonald, he's actually moving slower initially, but, you know, he speeds up. The other thing about that running speed being fast is he'll actually, when he has to make a complete stop and turn around, it's going to be quicker. So, I mean, Lonnie Young's all over the field. This guy, you know, I don't think it was intended for him to be this studly. But if he was anything faster than a 44, he'd be broken. But you have to take advantage of that if you're using the Cardinals. And as I've said in some of the other videos, I like to alternate alternate the safeties, but also which side of the defense I'm choosing based on the formation that I see. You saw him giving a guy a hard time? Yeah, I've seen it too, unfortunately. So Ricky Proehl, so there you go. Rosenbach throws that horrible pass. He's wide open. He's going to frustrate you a little bit, but you're going to have to deal with him. 44 pass control, could be much worse. We're in the second quarter. Let's see. He's still at an average. We got a lot of average going. And there's good. 44 maximum speed. Okay. 63 receptions. So Ernie Jones is looking good right now. So there's only 1:30 left, so I want to try to get in the end zone. Let's throw one up to Jones. He's feeling good. And there it is. The play that everyone fears, the jumping jackass. It's 13-0. Rosenbach throwing strikes now. So, I don't know with the Tecmo Tundra Bowl how top heavy it's going to be. I recognize few of the players that they're choosing for #1 seeds. So, we'll see. But I'm looking to have a good time. And I haven't had a bad time at any of the Tecmo Super Bowl tournaments I've been to. I've only been to 4 total. The other one I've been to was one in Chicago that Eric Odell threw a while back. And it was a good tournament. Not as big as Tecmo Madison, but it was a good tournament indeed. Ernie Jones or Ernie Johnson? Who do I got? I got Ernie Johnson, to be honest. I like what he does with that TNT broadcast. Fumble, and the Cardinals pick it up at the end of the half. So your struggle with the Cardinals is just going to be offensively, but like I said, I like their defense. You really, as a user, as someone who controls the defenders as a user, they have all the options available for you. Let's throw another one up to Ernie. Oh, a covered catch. Wow. So, on my last video, I talked about a different slide technique for tapping A to break tackles and also tackle ball carriers. I was working on that a little bit. Basically, what Troy commented on the video and said, practice. If you're practicing that slide technique, you want to do it before the snap on defense, and then you could see how fast you're tapping. So I'm going to try to do it right now and show you what I mean. So you can see the speed of how fast you're tapping. And if you get in the right rhythm, you can see those ones moving quicker. So I got to practice it, but I think I can get it down. And that's enough huts for you, so I won't torture you with any more of that. Sterling and Shannon Sharp or Peyton and Eli Manning? Well, those are two great duos in their respective positions, but I have to take Peyton and Eli. But, you know, overall, it's Peyton and Eli. Peyton's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, if not the best. And there's a pick for Tim Mcdonald. And then Eli won a couple Super Bowls. Shannon Sharp, Sterling Sharp, good receivers. But Shannon Sharp, tight end. I think Shannon Sharp did get a Super Bowl. Sterling, not so much. She's before Brett Favre. Come on, Roy. So Chicago Cardinals, that was before my day. I played some games in Comiskey Park, which is where the Sox used to play. It's called U.S. Cellular Field and now Guaranteed Rate Field. And their logo actually looks like the Bears logo with another C in the middle. So take a look at that if you ever get the chance. It's very similar to the Bears. Johnny Johnson. Getting that speed up. And there's another touchdown for you. So, you know, it's important going into these tournaments to get as many matches versus good players as you can. That's one of the reasons I want to go to this tournament in Green Bay. There's another one in Detroit in March. Wish I could go to that one too, but I don't think I'm going to make that one as well. But, you know, if you're new to the tournament scene, Tecmo Madison has been the best time so far. It's an explosion of Tecmo players. But you might want to see how you do in a smaller tournament. I think the Thunderbolt's saying that there's 42 paid and registered, and they're expecting some walk-ins. Lonnie Young flying all over the field. The Cardinals, because of their defensive abilities, I wouldn't mind calling them in the tournament. Especially if I could pull off something like having my user or my opponent picking Green Bay. I don't know if I can get them to do that or not, but it'll be interesting to find out. Rosenbach's hitting him over the middle. Not guarding anybody. The Packers are one of those teams, if you want to run up the score against the computer, pretty bad. Their AI is pretty bad. What I thought was laughable about the Cardinals' default playbook is they had a wide receiver reverse, just like the Packers do on run 3. But Sterling Sharp's actually fast. The Cardinals had Ricky Proehl, which went through the ratings, only a 19 maximum speed, so I mean, how the hell is he going to get any yards on a reverse with the 19 maximum speed? They really set the Cardinals up for disaster. Deontay Jenkins live and uncut. But yeah, I mean, we're just about 3 months out from Tecmo Madison. So now's about the time you want to lock down a playbook and just beat it into death. Practice it as much as you can. And just try to master it. When you're running with the quarterback, you always want to be rolling to one of the sides. And then if you want to break a deep one down the field, sometimes you can retract back and try to throw one down. But you don't want to take a big sack for a loss, so if you hang in the pocket, it's not the best option in Tecmo Super Bowl. You always want to be rolling out, even if it's a play that's not a bootleg. You just roll out anyways, so if there's nothing there, if you're not liking what you're seeing, you know, you're getting those 3 to 5 yards, maybe sometimes even 10 if you got your opponent's user defender way back there guarding the deep ball. But yeah, there's much worse quarterbacks than Rosenbach. I mean, 44 pass control. That's like, you know, the average rating. If he goes down, you're going to be hurt, and then you got to bring in punter boy Tom Tupa. So right there, what I just did, you know, I did a dive tackle because if I actually engaged with him in the grappling, he would have knocked me off because there was a blocker right there. So basically, if you're in a tussle, grapple with someone, one of the other players, and then another guy on their team comes to hit it, they'll knock it off. So I saw that coming. Look at these picks by the Cardinals. I saw that coming, so I just backed up a little bit and did a dive tackle. You want to practice that as well. I don't think you won Tecmo Madison. Hate to say it. So 42-0 against the Packers. Tim Rosenbach tore him up with a 247. Ernie Jones, 95 yards. He was feeling good. And there you have it. The Phoenix Cardinals. Now the Arizona Cardinals. So they are the weakest team in the NFC East. But they're not the weakest team in the game. But they fall in that lower tier. So there are some teams to match them up against. We talked about those already. So for the next stream, we are going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys, the last team in the division. And that will put us at 10 teams that we've broken down for you. Yeah, well, I definitely whooped them. So the Dallas Cowboys are next. I hope you enjoyed the Phoenix Cardinals. Now you know what their strengths and weaknesses are. But I'm looking forward to Dallas Cowboys coming into their own. They got all the players we want on there. Are their ratings where they should be? Probably for this year, but later on they're much better in later games. So, thank you for checking out the stream. And I'll be back soon with the Dallas Cowboys.